Hello, I'm Javier Harkeen, and this is Harking Back, a podcast about the pop culture of a lifetime. Whose life? Mine. I'm going back through every year I've been alive and finding out what was going on in that year. This time we're looking at 1985. 1985. I don't know who sings that song, but it's damn catchy. You should be very happy that you're not actually having me talk in your face, not having me talk in your face. Last night my wife Annie made some bruschetta and a lot of raw garlic, and right now I can feel I am melting the microphone. If this microphone could talk, it would be like, dude, back the fuck up. Anyway, 1985. I went through and had a look at things that were going on in 1985. Things like the first British mobile phone call is made by Ernie Wise to Vodafone. Probably to complain, I'd think. What else? New York, New York becomes the official anthem of New York City. Really, was there any competition? The song is New York, New York. What else is going to beat it? Things like Mickey Mouse is welcomed in China. Whatever that means. It was just an entry in like a list of events that happens. What does that mean, Mickey Mouse is welcomed in China? I would have liked to have seen like Mickey Mouse is chased out of China. I would have liked that. Or Mickey Mouse is detained in China. Disney goes in and sends like Disney commandos. I would have liked to have seen that. EastEnders premieres on BBC. If you are not British, you probably might not have heard of EastEnders, but EastEnders is one of the definitive soaps on TV here. It's the one that starts with the drums are and this one I didn't realize until I really moved to London. I know it sounds crazy. This is the one. There's two big soaps in the UK. One is Coronation Street, which is set up north, and I can hear British people right now going, "It's set in town." It's Manchester, isn't it? I believe. I'm not even going to Google it. I'm not going to Google it right now. I'm just going to sit here in my own stupidity and just go, I'm pretty sure it's Manchester. And people out there are raging. Anyway, EastEnders is set in London, and there's a big clue because the intro sequence has a bird's eye view of London with the Thames. We got the show in New Zealand, but I did not know what it was. I didn't know what the topography of London looked like. I didn't know that this curly river was the Thames. I didn't know that. I just thought that this was a bit of a weird accented soap opera. Never saw it. Apparently it's huge. There have been great clips sometimes of when they try to do live episodes, and watching these soap actors try to work live is just beautiful. I had a friend who worked in a soap opera in New Zealand, and they said they work so quickly in soap operas, you really don't get a chance for a second take. He said, if you try to ask for a second take, they'll just go, no, there's no time. So what you need to do, if you want a second take, if you desperately need a second take, is you have to make your first take unusable. So you fuck up the start of your line, but you have to end it with motherfucker. And then they go, we can't use that. We're forced to reshoot it, and everyone will hate you. They're under such tight deadlines in soap operas, apparently. So if you're ever caught in that trap, that's what you do. So, EastEnders premieres in BBC in 1985. Moonlighting is a show that goes on in the US. Now, Moonlighting is one of these shows that had Bruce Willis and Sybil Shepherd, and it was a comedy, romance kind of one. And I only really know about it because when Bruce Willis was cast in Die Hard, everyone went, no, he can't be an action guy. He's the dude from Moonlighting. I never actually saw it, but I think Bruce Willis would have had a young, nice, chummy charm to him, like he does in Hudson Hawk a bit. I think it would have been a good series. And Sybil Shepherd, one of those names that keeps coming up. And I always get, I always get Sybil Shepherd confused with, what's her name? Kathy, the chick who was Serial Mom. Kathleen Turner, sorry. And I'll tell you something about Kathleen Turner later on in a podcast when she fucked off my wife. That's right, Kathleen Turner / Sybil Shepherd. Whoever you are, you evil twins. You fucked off my wife and you'll pay. What else happened in 1985? Tina Turner did a concert in Birmingham, England, not Birmingham, Alabama. Tina Turner did a concert in Birmingham, England, and David Bowie shows up as a guest. I mean, what a goddamn jackpot that is. Yeah, they're seeing Tina Turner anyway, who's in her prime. Like, her vocal cords are just whew, in their peak right now. And then, oh, who's this? David Bowie. By the way, even now, well, not even now, he's dead. But at any time, I think, and then David Bowie showed up, is the perfect addition to any situation. We were at dinner and David Bowie showed up. We were in an orgy and then David Bowie showed up. We were in a bank robbery and David Bowie showed up and the bank robbers just surrendered. Anyway, David Bowie turning up. Hey, in your dreams now is the only way, I think. Pretty damn good concert to be at, I think. What else? Billy D. Williams gets a Hollywood Walk of Fame star. Really? Really? Every time I see people getting added to the Hollywood Walk of Fame, first off, how long is this fucking walk now? And honestly, I think they're adding some people willy-nilly. And I think it would have kind of maybe... This Billy D. Williams at the time, I looked back at Billy D. Williams' filmography. He had not done a lot. He'd not done a lot at all. Like, Empire Strikes Back is doing such heavy lift, and Return of the Jedi is doing such heavy lifting here. Billy D. Williams, really. Name me, he was in Batman, the Star Wars movies. Name another one. Name another big movie he was in. Is it really Hollywood Walk of Fame? No. There needs to be like a little back alley shuffle, kind of like the B-listers, you know? The B-actors. Like the Hollywood back alley of kind of know, of acquaintance. Anyway, he doesn't belong in the Walk of Fame. Sorry, Billy D. Williams. You got a smile of gold. You're charming as fuck. But you don't deserve to be on there. Funny story about Billy D. Williams. He talks about in an interview. I like this. You know how he betrays Han Solo in Empire Strikes Back? He was walking down the street and some kid recognized him from the Star Wars movies and kicked him in the shin and said, "That's for what you did to Han Solo." What a hero that kid is. Sorry, Billy. Got kicked in the shins, and I don't think you deserve to be on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I don't. Come at me, bro. Come at me. What else? Hulk Hogan was having an interview with a dude. Richard Belzer is his name. And apparently Richard Belzer had been like one of these guys that said, "That's all fake," and blah, blah, blah. Hulk Hogan loses his shit and puts this Richard dude in a hold, like a sleeper hold or something. Anyway, the dude passes out, hits his head on the floor, gets 9 stitches. Why do they always have to count the stitches? Anyway, they settle out of court and Richard buys a house in France off the money. And he's got a great story. How'd you get the house? Well, have you heard of Hulk Hogan? I'd get choked out for a house. I'd do that. I remember me and my friend Paul, we would like, when we found out how to do a sleeper hold, one afternoon we took turns making each other pass out. And that lack of oxygen that day probably accounts for a lot these days now, looking back at it. Anyway, yeah, so I'd love to get choked out for a house. Sorry, not choked out, concussed. Which is worse. Yeah, I'd still do it. I'd still do it. For a house in France? In this economy? Absolutely. I don't know how old's Hulk now. I'm going to turn up at his house and be like, "Dude, can you please put me in a hold? Don't put the phone down. Stop calling the police." 1985, Wham is the first Western pop act to release an album in China. And what an introduction to Western music. Wham. Giving you both barrels there, China. Wham, what a great one to have. Freedom. More on Wham later. New Coke is launched. They changed the name to Coke 2 in 1990, by the way. Everyone hated this New Coke, by the way. It was changed, like, what did I say? Changed to New Coke, Coke 2 in 1990 and discontinued in 2002. I never tried it. And I don't know why they needed to fuck with it. Like, it's 1985. Coke is everywhere. In both senses of the word. Way. Did you really need to change the formula? Were you like, "Oh God, we're so sick of selling Coke"? Seriously, like, what's a Coke marketing meeting like? "Morning, everyone. Are we still selling Coke?" That's lunch. Everyone nailed it. Well done. So yeah, they changed the flavor of it, the recipe. Everyone hates it. They go back to it very quickly, the original very quickly. And I think Bill Cosby, I think I remember seeing an ad with Bill Cosby where he's going, "This is your Coke and this is new Coke flavor and don't ask about the woman at my house." And yeah, Coke, there it is. One thing that we never got was cherry Coke. No, we got cherry Coke in New Zealand. Coke just keeps trying to come out with new flavors. Wasn't there green Coke? Coke Green a couple of years ago? It's like, dude, just stop it. This is, you're overreaching. You're overthinking it. You're making Coke. Everyone's fine. Coke and Diet Coke. My wife loves Diet Coke. She loves it. She's like Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder. Diet Coke! We've got a little funny story where when we first started dating, my wife and I, we went to bed after we'd been out for a night drinking or something, and then she kind of woke up in the middle of the night. I was just like, oh my God, I'd kill for a Diet Coke right now, and just kind of rolled over and went back to sleep. And I thought, I'm going to go out. And I went out and I found like a 24-hour gas station, petrol station, and I bought a Diet Coke and I put it in the fridge. And then when I went back to bed, I kind of woke her up and she was like, what happened to you? Where'd you go? And I went, babe, I went to go get you a Diet Coke. And she said, oh, that's so nice. It's not in my hand. I know that sounds terrible, but that's just become a little saying that we say to each other now. Like, when we get each other something, we go, oh, it's nice, but it's not in my hand, is it? It's not in my hand. Anyway, I love her, and she loves Diet Coke. And I think she likes me but not as much as Diet Coke. Right, where are we? Michael Jordan is named NBA Rookie of the Year, and that's the last we ever heard of that guy. Imagine if being another Rookie of the Year that year and just going, yeah, it's Michael, and it's going to be him for the next fucking decade. Weird Al Yankovic releases Dare to Be Stupid, his third album. This is his third album. It's 1985. The guy's been grafting away for almost 4 decades. Almost 4 decades. He's still working. In this day and age, like, if people make fun of you, it's like, oh God. It was the highest honor in music to have Weird Al do a parody of one of your songs. I think there was a famous, oh God, I don't know who it was, because he has to get permission, right? And most people were like, oh my God, yes, I would love Weird Al to do a parody of my song. I've made it. It's the seal of approval. He reached out to some artist. I can't remember who. Yeah, you can let me know in the comments. And they initially said no, and they said it was one of the biggest regrets of their career that they turned down Weird Al. How could you say no to those glasses and those curls? We Are the World is recorded by supergroup USA for Africa. And this supergroup, that we are the world, we are the children. This supergroup was made up by Michael Jackson, Ray Charles, Billy Joel, Diana Ross, Cyndi Lauper, Bruce Springsteen, Tina Turner, and the Jackson 4. Because MJ had struck out on his own. That would have been awkward. Oh, hey guys, how's it going? Yeah, my career's amazing. Are you guys all just still siblings? Yeah, nice one. So this is when charity songs were still awesome. Because also, this year, I think they also released... they just released in Christmas, the year before, Do They Know It's Christmas by Band-Aid. And they raised shitloads for Africa and for AIDS. And... oh God, this just makes me think about, remember when Gal Gadot and other celebrities tried to sing Imagine during the pandemic? And everyone was like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing this for? Like, were they trying to raise money for something? Or were they just trying to go like, hey everyone, we're all going through a really shit time, but maybe this song that we're singing while we film it in our fucking mansions might make you all feel better. I love that they sang it and everyone fucking hated it. Like, what a disconnect it is to be a celebrity at that level, to go, oh, what could I do? I'll sing them a song to make them fuck off. Sorry, I found it so funny that when they got absolutely panned. Also, and talking about charity singles and music, Live Aid, a little concert you might have heard of, Live Aid, that one, the one that everyone always talks about, the best concert ever, was held at Wembley and JFK Stadium. Isn't that awesome? They held it like in London and JFK Stadium. New York, I'm assuming. Yeah. And they made shitloads for African famine relief. This is the one where Queen has that famous Freddie Mercury, and he's like getting the crowd to call and response. Oh, what a band to be at. What a concert to be at. My God, my words are all over the show today. Sorry, I think it's the garlic that's affecting my brain. Also, I am feeling a little bit anxious because the builders next door, they're renovating next door, and these builders have taken a break, and I'm trying to get this podcast recorded before they come back. And if they come back, you'll hear it, because it sounds like they're about to drill into my fucking house and thinking it's a bank vault. It's like they're doing a heist over there. Right, Live Aid. Lots of awesome other amazing bands, but Queen killed it. I don't know who else played, but Queen won. Whoever played, Queen won. All right, sorry. other things that happened that year. The Golden Girls debuted, the TV series, The Golden Girls. You know, those really, really old ladies? They were in their teens in 1985. Anne of Green Gables was also on TV. I don't know why Anne of Green Gables sticks in my head. It's because my sister loved it for some reason. And I think it was one of the first times I'd actually seen her affected by something, by watching something. I think she cried during it, or she really loved it. And I was kind of intrigued because my sister was never really a big TV watcher, but she was like, Anne of Green Gables is the shit. And it just stuck in my head. I don't know anything about the story. I think it's set in like oldie times America, which, I don't know. A lot of stories around there. Anyway, Anne of Green Gables sticks in my head. I just saw it was there and it just triggered something in my memory. What else? MacGyver debuts with Richard Dean Anderson. Talking about things my wife loves. Fuck my words. Talking about things my wife loves, MacGyver might be up there. Every time MacGyver is mentioned in whatever context, she'll go, I love MacGyver. Me and my family all used to watch MacGyver. It was one of the few programs we all watched together and that we were allowed to watch because my wife wasn't. Here's the thing. My wife was not allowed to watch TV as a kid. Like, they'd lock the TV away in a cabinet. Now she loves watching TV. Like, this is her downtime. She just smashes, like, box sets don't have a fucking chance with my wife, with Annie. She smashes through them. And I think she loves it because she was denied it as a kid. I was not allowed video games, like video game consoles. I wasn't allowed a Sega or a Nintendo or anything like that. And now I love video games. Video games are my downtime. That's where I relax. I really enjoy it. So, have I talked about this? I swear, because I always say this shit. Anyway, MacGyver debuted. If you don't know about MacGyver, it was a pretty cool series. I never really watched it that much, but I knew that he was an action dude that didn't like to use guns. And that has me hooked from even that premise alone. Because this is the mid-80s where, you know, if you can't even hold a minigun, what kind of action star are you? And this guy was like, no, just give me... He was a bit like the A-Team. He'd be like, well, we need to escape from here. And he'd see like 2 paper clips and some blue tack, and he'd make a bomb out of it. Or he'd like... I think it was... Again, I'm not a fan of the series, but I think at peak MacGyver, like, he made a plane out of shit he found in a shed. And for Kiwis, MacGyver was porn, because Kiwis have this... It's DIY porn, because Kiwis have this real thing of like, oh, don't pay someone to do it yourself. So they're very good at DIY and building things and fixing things and using tools and being very inventive. And Kiwis also have this heritage of being very innovative, because in New Zealand it was in the arse end of the world, it's in the corner of the world, away from everything. A lot of the time you couldn't get things that the rest of the world had readily available. So Kiwis are famous for inventing shit. So MacGyver comes along and he's this guy that just makes these amazing contraptions out of anything that's lying around, and Kiwi males were just sitting there going, oh, did you see him? Did you see him turn that fork into a fucking generator? Oh, look at that. Oh, I don't know. I'm a bit confused right now. So yeah, MacGyver debuted. Whitney Houston releases her debut album. God damn, she's a singer. I watched her biopic. Well, actually, my wife was watching, and I do you ever do that? Kind of watch a movie through osmosis? Like someone else is watching something on TV, and you're there on your phone or doing something else, but the rest of your body is subconsciously taking in the movie. That's what I did with this Whitney Houston one. And god damn, what a voice. What a voice. What a tragic end. Yeah, I'm not going to go into it, but you know, was it in the tub? Another one in the tub? Another overdose? Anyway, Whitney Houston released her debut album, and she was sensational. Speaking of music, let's go through the top 5 songs of 1985. At number 5, I Feel For You by Shaka Khan. Shaka Khan is just a great name to say. Shaka Khan. I don't know the song. Number 4, I Want to Know What Love Is by Foreigner. What a tune. I want to know what love is. This song always reminds me, I did the World Buskers Festival in Christchurch, New Zealand, and they always choose a winner of Best International Act and Best National Act. And Best National Act, I think the first year I did it, was this guy called Mullet Man, because he's got a mullet. He's an amazing juggler, a street performer. And they have this big concert at the end where all the buskers who have taken part in the festival can come, and they've got like 5 minutes to do whatever they want on the stage. And most people do a bit of their act. And Mullet Man, who's just won the award, was like, what's he going to do? What's he going to do in his act? He's going to do some juggling. He's going to do a bit of crowd work. What's he going to do? And he just got up there and he played Foreigner's I Want to Know What Love Is. And he invited the whole crowd to sing. And there he was, just like left the mic in the stand. And he's doing that thing where he's got his arms behind his back, but he's like leaning into the mic with his mouth and it's very sincere. And he's just belting out, I want to know what love is. And everyone's singing it. And I was like, God damn, the balls to do that at the time, because I couldn't imagine that. Like, if I'd been... Was I asked to do that? I think I was. I just did some of my acts because there was no way I was going to deviate from the script and do something like that. And I just remember seeing that and going, that guy's got balls I don't have, to just go and do something completely different and just go, yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I don't know if I could do it now. My anxiety would peak. Anyway, number 3, Wake Me Up Before You Go Go by Wham. Fucking tune. I still put it on sometimes. Because when we had Clara, our daughter, as she gets a bit older, you're up in the mornings. I'm never a morning person, and now we're up, we're making breakfast, we're doing everything. And I was thinking about morning songs, songs for the morning, and the only one I could think of was Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. Now, she loves it. It's a damn catchy tune. Feels good. I don't know why, but I've always wanted to film a fight scene while this song is playing, because I just think the juxtaposition would be hilarious. Like, I kind of like half wrote an idea in my head of a guy having a fight in his house, like a home intruder or something, and he knocks the stereo and this song starts blaring out while this very vicious fight starts playing. And I just thought it'd be awesome to see this very intense, vicious fight while this song is playing. Anyway, Wham! Killing it. Number 2, Like a Virgin by Madonna. Like a Virgin. If you haven't seen Reservoir Dogs, watch it, because at the start they talk about Like a Virgin by Madonna. And Mr. Pink, Steve Buscemi, goes on about this song being... Oh, I feel so crass right now. He talks about it being like a girl that's liking this guy so much, or being... What was it? What were the exact words? I'm going to fuck it up and I'm going to sound terrible doing it. But Mr. Pink, Steve Buscemi's like, this girl is fucking a guy with a dick so huge, it's like she's being fucked like it. She feels like a virgin again. Anyway, it's classic Tarantino, and it's very kind of like intense topic to start a movie off with. But they're talking about that song, Like a Virgin by Madonna. And number 1, Careless Whisper, also by Wham. That's 2 in the top 5 for Wham, by the way. You're welcome, China. Your first introduction to Western pop music, and they get 2 songs in the top 5 for that year. You're fucking spoiled, China. You're spoiled, but you have amazing food, so we'll let you off with it. Careless Whisper, you might not. If you don't recognize the name, you'll definitely recognize the tune. It's that saxophone. I'm never gonna dance again. This song became such an iconic one. I don't know at what point it stopped being like a sincere love song and started being used in every single comedic sketch when they wanted to instantly make something awkwardly romantic or unironically romantic. Any scenario, you stop, you do a record scratch, and you start playing Careless Whisper, that saxophone. It is guaranteed laughs. And it comes up in comedy so many times because it is just a song that is so incredibly linked, not just with like romance, but with someone trying to seduce you. And I think that's what it is about it. So watch every comedic time it's used, and it'll be one person that is trying to seduce someone, and the other person, it's coming out of left field for them. They're like, oh shit, you thought this was romantic? It's a great song to this day, and even just those bars will make everyone have a little smirk. And I don't know if that was the intended effect for Wham, if that's what they wanted, but that's what you got. All right? You're immortalized by that, at least. God, I'm going to go play that as soon as I finish this podcast, and I recommend you do as well. Top 5 video games of 1985. Now, I can tell you that the top 5 movies and the top 5 songs, they're by Box Office Mojo and Billboard. All right, so they are quantified. They've done the research. They've run the numbers. Video games, I'm still finding it hard to find an actual official one, but here's my best piece together top 5 video games of 1985. And number 5, Karate Champ. I'm guessing Karate Kid was doing a lot of the heavy lifting here for that. Number 4, Excite Bike. I played this one. I remember how I said that my parents didn't let me have a console, a video games console? If I was good during school term, I was allowed to go down and hire a Nintendo for a day in the school holidays. Yeah, and my God, I would spend all fucking day on it. And it was kind of one of those things of like my parents going, well, he's only gone up for a day, let him go nuts. And I did. And Excite Bike was one of the very first games I played. It was a little like motocross game, and it looks like you're going very fast, but you're not. It's this little dude on a bike, just, and it was so simple, but it blew me away. It was amazing. Number 3, Commando. Not Bionic Commando, another game called Commando, much simpler. Number 2, Ghostbusters, the game. I remember playing one Ghostbusters game on my friend's Commodore 64. It was kind of lame. But then again, most games made from movies are. Maybe this is just setting the trend early. And number 1, Super Mario Brothers. Jeez, is there any more video game more iconic in pop culture than Super Mario Brothers? Like the amount of, and I know people would say like, oh, Pac-Man or Pong, but I'm talking about like the depth of everything that comes from that game. All the tropes that people know today about like having a mushroom and it makes you bigger, or like the princess is in another castle, or jumping on people's heads, or plumbers being in this Japanese game. And hey, it's a Mario, most successful video game mascot ever, right? Absolutely iconic. I remember my cousins playing this, and like I'd never played it. We'd go to visit my cousins. They had a Nintendo. Everyone had a Nintendo. I was the only kid without a Nintendo, apparently. But Nintendo wasn't huge in New Zealand, by the way. It wasn't really big in New Zealand. And I was quite lucky that I was able to hire one. It was really weird. We were able to go down and hire one from our local video store. It was called Video Village. But I did not know a single other kid in New Zealand with a Nintendo Entertainment System. But my cousins in Nicaragua had them, and their friends had them. Anyway, I'd start playing it, and they'd all be like, oh, God, you suck at this game. I'm like, yes, of course I suck. I've never played it before, you pricks. And they would kind of just do it, and they knew all the secret level places and shit, and I'd just watch it in awe, just hoping one day I'd save the princess. Never did. Never completed it, but I loved playing it. What else was happening in 1985? Oh, I put down here some other things. Other movies, right? Movies? Oh, here we go. Have I done the movies yet? No, I haven't done the movies. All right. Oh, fuck, I want to talk about these. Save these for last. The Breakfast Club came out in 1985. Remember The Breakfast Club? By the way, it's funny. In The Breakfast Club, remember, it's all about these delinquents that are held, high school delinquents that are held for detention on a Saturday. And there's like a goth girl and the jock and the nerd and the pretty girl. And at the end, the pretty girl gives the goth girl a makeover. And watch it on YouTube. This makeover has aged like milk. Like, she comes out looking like shit. It's like she was fine. She was fine before, but apparently not to 1985 standards. Amadeus came out in 1985. That was one of the first movies where everyone was like, oh, this you must, good, very powerful film. And I just, I was what, 3? No, of course I didn't watch it at 3. Sorry, I'm talking about later life. People went, Amadeus is amazing. And I watched it and I went, a little bit boring, if I'm honest. View to a Kill came out in 1985. Last Roger Moore Bond. Thank God. Yeah, I know. Yeah, hot take. Roger Moore was the shittest Bond. Was he? No, so who was the shittest Bond? No, I'm sticking with it. Roger Moore was the shittest Bond. Actually, I haven't seen George Lazenby's. Roger Moore was the shittest Bond. There was just something about him. This was the time when Bond was peak campiness. And it was just, Roger Moore just seemed like he was more about the one-liners than anything else. It just felt like all the action and the fights just had no weight behind it when Roger Moore was there. It just looked like stuntmen were really having to come down to his level. And it's a shame because all the fucking coolest shit, all the coolest gadgets and stuff were wasted on Roger Moore. Like that Lotus Esprit from The Spy Who Loved Me, wasted on Roger Moore. Yeah, I can hear the Roger Moore fans raging at me right now. Yeah, I'll stick by it. You know what? He was a softly spoken shit Bond. Yeah? Who was already... This is the first Bond where people started going, he is fucking far too old. All right. When he started, I know Sean Connery towards the end, it was like when he did Diamonds Are Forever. No, should have stayed retired there, Connery. But Roger Moore, nah, got no time for him really. Nah. Oh, and View to the Kill, Christopher Walken as the villain. Pee-wee's Big Adventure in 1985. Now, this is funny. We didn't get the TV show Pee Wee Herman's Playhouse in New Zealand, but we got the movie. And it was so weird because we'd heard of Pee Wee Herman, but not being able to grow up with him. This movie came out and we were like, what the fuck is this? Yeah. By the way, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, where he loses his bike and he has to go find it again, was the first movie that Tim Burton directed. And it's no wonder he went all dark and twisted after this. After doing this Pee-wee adventure where it's all colourful and this guy just going and doing weird giggles everywhere. Tim Burton would have been like, no, from now on it's just shadows and eyeliner. That's what I'm about. The Goonies came out in 1985. Goonies, I've got a confession. I've never seen The Goonies start to finish. I've never done it. I've never seen it. Oh God, I can hear the builder starting to come back. I'm going to start wrapping this up. The Goonies, never seen it. Yep, shame on me. Commando came out, Arnold Schwarzenegger. That movie is not good. I mean, we all love Arnie. I love Arnie, but that movie is objectively bad. It is. When people just started thinking that action movies were just a guy holding a big gun and going, bah, 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 bah. Watch it. Even Schwarzenegger looks bored holding a big gun. Anyway, Return to Oz also came out in 1985. If you haven't seen this unofficial sequel to Return to Wizard of Oz, it is the creepiest kids film you'll ever watch. I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, but I do a bunch of these clips called Top 5, where I give top 5 reasons on whatever. One of the very first top 5s I did is the top 5 reasons why this movie was scary as fuck. I remember my parents would put it on because we only had a small library of films that they had videotaped. And so when, we were allowed to watch movies, this was one of the ones on, and I would always be like, oh God, don't make me watch it. Don't make me watch it. If you have watched it, I'm just going to say one word, The Wheelers. Yeah, enjoy your nightmares. I will probably try and put a link to that top 5 in the comments or in the bio or whatever. I'll put it in there for you somewhere. All right, those are some movies that came out, but the top 5 movies that came out worldwide in 1985. Number 5, The Color Purple. Number 4, Rocky 4. God, all the Rocky movies are just the fucking same. Well, no, Rocky 1 was amazing, and then the other ones just follow a very formulaic. Rocky 4 was number 4. Number 3, Rambo First Blood Part 2. That's 2 for Stallone in the top 5 there. Well done, Stallone. Again, Rambo, so different. The first Rambo and the first Rocky are so different to the rest of them. It's like the first movies, Rambo and Rocky, they give you such an amazing character and something you're not expecting from like a sports underdog movie or an action, quote unquote action movie. And everyone's like, oh my God, this is so interesting. There's actually a character under here. And then in the sequels, they just went, oh shit, sorry, we didn't mean to give you a character. Sorry, carry on. Number two was Back to the Future. God, what a movie. What a movie. Apparently, in one of the earlier drafts, instead of a DeLorean, it was going to be a fridge, a time-traveling fridge, which is a little too close to the TARDIS and maybe a little too close to like the time-traveling phone booth from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Anyway, when did that? No, that came out later on. No, it can't be that, right? I don't know. But Back to the Future, holy shit. I mean, DeLoreans, apparently, by all accounts, are terrible cars. They're awful. I don't know one person that wouldn't turn down a DeLorean if they saw one on sale. Like, at sale. Such, like, the vertical doors. What? Amazing. There's a Back to the Future musical out there, and apparently it's very good. I want to go see it. But I'm a bit wary, because the last musical based on a movie I took my wife to was Pretty Woman, and that was shit. It was really shit. But she enjoyed it. It's not for me. It's for her. All right? Back to the Future. Oh, God, I feel like I could talk so much about Back to the Future. But you know what? I wouldn't say anything that's not been said on any other podcast or video about Back to the Future. Let's just... You know what? You know who deserves an Oscar? is the person that decided, like, hey, what if when the car time travels, it leaves behind fire trails? Best decision in the movie. And also to recast Eric Stoltz. Here we go. Yeah, I've started doing the thing where, like, I've heard some movie trivia from somewhere else, and now I'm going to relay it to you. I'm going to be one of those annoying pricks. I've often thought, you know what? Why do I retain shitty, useless movie trivia in my head rather than actual intelligence? You know? Because I often try to pass off trivia for intelligence, and it never works. You know, like, I wish I knew facts about the universe, or, you know, chemistry or physics or anything. But instead I'm like, oh, did you know that Eric Stoltz actually completed like 3 weeks of filming and then they recast him, and that Michael J. Fox actually had to like shoot his sitcom during the day, Family Ties, and then go to film Back to the Future at night, and he was really tired when he filmed it. Why do I have that information rather than anything fucking useful? All right, number one that year was a movie called Out of Africa. Haven't seen it, don't know it, had never heard of it, Out of Africa, but it's got Robert Redford and Meryl Streep in their prime. It's got to be amazing. I'm going to track it down and find it. The last thing I'm going to be doing on each podcast as well is Times Person of the Year. Times Person of the Year in 1985, Deng Xiaoping, the Chinese leader that steered China away from Mao's communist China. Well fucking done, Deng. Maybe Deng like heard Wham's Careless Whisper or Wake Me Up Before You Go and just thought, yeah, it's time. Really kind of woke him out of his coma. Right? Personally, what was I doing this year? We were living in Boca Raton in Florida. This is where I had my first memory. The first memory I have was impaling my foot on a belt buckle. You know that little spike that goes through your belt, like through the hole in your belt? Yeah, that's part of the buckle. That was standing upright, and I was in the middle of the night. I woke up and I went to go to the toilet, I think, and I remember putting my foot down as I stepped out of bed, and it went into that belt buckle spike bit, and I was screaming my head off, and Mum coming in and going, "What the fuck is happening?" And then me just going at my foot, but I was in so much pain and was so shocked, and so I couldn't actually put into words. I think I just like cried and like pointed at my foot, and Mum probably going, "Oh, it's not that bad." 80s mums. It's funny, like around that time, there were toys. I remember a Christmas, and it's funny, like, because there were some toys I remember playing with, and I really remember when you see photos of them, like a big Tonka truck, when they still made Tonka trucks out of metal, proper metal. Yeah. Yes, I think from now on, with the podcast, when it gets to the bit where I'm going to tell you what was happening in my life, I will be able to tell you more, because now I think I start forming memories. Anyway, that was 1985. Thank you so much for listening and bearing with me as I stumbled over every third fucking word. I'm having a lot of fun doing this and going back and seeing what was going on and remembering things. If you like the podcast, what do you do? Do you like, share, subscribe, that shit? Do you leave a rating? I don't know. If you like it, you know what to do with it. Tell someone. I don't know how. Digitally, personally, emotionally. I don't know what. Anyway, guys, thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye!